Now back to the Late Showgram with Jim Richards on the iHeartRadio Talk Network.
And we're back with the Late Showgram. I'm David Cooper, and I'll be filling in for Jim Richards, who's sadly come down with a nasty case of leprosy, but he should be out for only a week. Joining us is our guest who has a hilarious DIY TV series called Oral Fixation, and that's really all I know about her, both because I've had very little time to prepare, but also because I'm a terrible interviewer. Welcome Zoe Nightingale. Got it right.
Well, with an intro like that, what else does a girl need? Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, we are here. We are doing great. I feel a sense of panic right now because I didn't take my beta blockers because for those who are listening, this is taped. This isn't live, and so I normally take my beta blockers before I go on live, and it helps with the anxiety. Here I am talking about myself. Are you on any medication as a Jewish person?
As a Jewish person, I'm on no medication. No.
Have you never been medicated?
Never, not once. I should have been for sure. My preschool teacher told my mother that I had the best negative leadership quality she'd ever seen, and I should go to a specialist. But my mother said no.
Wait, negative leadership qualities like dictatorial?
Like a Pied Piper type, I imagine. I was, ordering kids to do things they shouldn't be doing. I'm not sure exactly, but there were many different people throughout my life that have said that I should not only be on medication, but maybe be locked away in some kind of tower, but with a very short hair, so there's no way for anyone to save me. But no, I've never sought medication that comes from doctors, but I have oftentimes sought medication in plants, in street drugs.
You look like a ketamine kind of a girl, I gotta say. Woman. You're a girl, okay? Person. They. She, they, it doesn't matter.
You can call me whatever you want, but I'm an everything kind of a person. I'll try everything 3 times or until it makes me go to jail. So yeah, I'm a friend to the streets from these narcotics for sure.
A street friend to the narcotics. You heard it here first. Yeah. This is a family program.
Oh, is it?
No, it's just late night. This is like no one's, there are people listening, although when they hear my voice, it's likely that they tune out. We are on a national radio program in Canada, from coast to coast to coast. I don't know what this third coast is, but that's what people say.
I'm not supposed to be within 50 feet of Canadians, according to the law of country, but yeah. Okay, so great.
What? Wait, what? I live in New York and I do radio in Canada. It's complicated.
That's very complicated.
So you are you mostly doing this creative stuff, or do you have a day job?
So I've been doing radio and podcasting for the last 10 years, and I have always had another job. I made eyewear for years. I've been working in the psychedelic art space for a while. I've always done entrepreneur tech conference I create events for different facets of society. I've always had another job, but on the side of it, I have been traveling the world with microphones, and now with a camera, which is really different. Trying to find the people who don't get a lot of light and give them some light. I talk to a lot of felons, a lot of drug addicts, a lot of prostitutes, a lot of people in the sex industry world. I talk to politicians and people of fame and fortune as well, but usually their stories are not as interesting and they've got a lot more guards up. So I really like to spend my time in the darker corners of the world, a lot of niche communities, lots of fandoms, furdoms, Comic-Cons, people who collect dolls, people who I like anybody that has a passion for something. I don't care what that passion is. The passion is being strung up like a Christmas ham upside down and having many different people. I don't know. I like people who have a passion.
Yeah,
and I like to explore those passions.
Quite the monologue. No, I like it. I'm struck by this idea of guard, because one thing I love about this medium, at least as I like to express myself on it, is I just don't care about really muddying the waters between my personal life and what's really going on in my life and actually like the art of it or the...
Well, you've mentioned irritable bowel syndrome like 3 times, and I just met you. So yeah, obviously you like to blend the lines of what is oversharing.
I assume we're both Jews, so I assumed you had IBS.
Not everyone has that. There's a lot of Jews whose genes weren't combined from all the cousins. I have okay genes. I'm all right.
No, I'm into my cousin, and she gets really annoyed when I say that. And she's married to somebody who isn't me, and we're only first cousins, so it's not like gross or anything.
Right. You probably shouldn't procreate with them because then their blood can't clot.
But I think it's maybe a genetic thing that I'm compelled to like my cousin. So maybe that can explain some of my various ailments
It's actually, there are studies that are shown that the people that you are most attracted to are the ones that have genes that will produce children that don't have birth defects.
Ah.
So no, your love of your cousin is purely something you should see somebody for.
Well, it's cousins and then it's like redheads, but it's not just redheads. I mean, my girlfriend, she grew up in San Diego. She's very like urban but I really like redheads who look like Anne of Green Gables. Like I might be the first Jew that they ever met. Grew up on the farm, milking the cows with the freckles.
So you just want to be Gilbert. Got it. Yeah, I can understand that. I've heard that redheads have the nicest vaginas. Turns out.
No, they do.
Really, that they've got the side burger with none of the meat. They've got the fat little ones. According to men I know that have sex with a lot of redheads as a fetish, but I'm not sure. I can't.
I thought I got to meet these men. Maybe there's a support group for gingivitis.
Well,
I don't know.
Are currently having sexual relations with the redhead. No.
Well, we've been dating for on and off for 8 years. So, I mean, in the last...
So have you or have you not seen her vagina?
No, I have, but I just mean this current iteration of dating. We've been together 4 years. So, I mean, we are not... The bedroom is not...
Can you confirm nor deny that she has a burger-like
Confirmed.
And fat... Confirmed. There we go.
It's not like it's not like what's the best way to describe this? Without,
I don't know if you should. Is she in the room? Is she?
No, she's in the other room in a work meeting right now. So that's
okay. Well, maybe don't let her hear this episode, unless you want to go on to really describe it in a nice way. And maybe all of your listeners would love to hear what your girlfriend's vagina looks like. I would.
It's nice. It's a nice vagina. Am I going to get in trouble if I go any further than this? Probably, but I can. It's very womanly. It's not. Doesn't look like a pornography kind of like childlike vagina. I don't like that. That's not for me.
Okay.
Somewhere between too extreme and too childlike. It's that perfect balance in the middle. Do you know what I'm talking about?
That's nice. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
I'm happy for you, the both of you.
So I was watching, I did prepare for this a little bit. I was watching a video.
Congratulations.
Well, I mean, I watched one of your videos and I loved it. You were interviewing this guy who was like a yogi, natural, I don't know what. He was Cuban, I think.
He's black, and he is a shaman, and a healer.
Shaman and healer,
and somebody who provides spiritual cleansings in the full moon for exactly $214 a session.
Not
and
18.
He will only see you at times that are up to 9.
Wow, so he's quite superstitious. But during the interview, what I was struck by was he was going on about all the things that you have to do, like yoga and exercise and this and that. And as he said these somewhat athletic pursuits, it would just cut to you and you'd be like, no. And then he'd say it again. You'd be like, oh, no. And
you're actually talking about a different interview with a guy who's a famous celebrity hairstylist in South Beach.
That's it.
Yes. And no, I don't do any of those things.
No,
you're right. I spend my time with people not like on a treadmill. I don't participate in things that gerbils also do.
You don't participate in things that gerbils do. So no, what are those? What do you call those?
Yeah, no Pelotons, no treadmills, no seated bicycles. I work out, but it's not in that way.
And what way is it?
Oh, I mean, come on. I mean, who wants to talk about this? I mean, I do all kinds of stuff.
I don't know. You mention it, and then I ask a question. You say you don't want to talk about it.
I play ball sports. Gerbils can't use rackets. Their hands are too small.
You're a racket girl. What is that? Badminton, wiffle ball?
No, squash and tennis specifically.
Squash, badminton, and wiffle ball.
I never said badminton.
You said lacrosse. Is that a racket game?
I never said lacrosse. Do I look like I eat pussy? I mean, I have eaten pussy, but no, I don't play lacrosse. Get out of here. I play grown-up sports. I don't wear no, I don't participate in any of those things. But anyway, yes, I've interviewed a lot of people, and I've been trying to move my podcast, which is obviously only auditory, into a more visual 3D prismatic kind of a world, but it's very hard. I record and edit all my own stuff, and I've moved into this like very murky world of trying to edit content on film, and it's hard. Excuse my language. It's really hard. And I really have a lot more respect for content creators. And everyone's like, oh, how hard could it be to be a YouTube creator? How hard could it actually be to, get mad at people for having these
to do it well? Like to do it well is so difficult.
It's very difficult. It's very expensive. It's very time consuming. It's very frustrating. And there's a lot, all your anonymity is lost. And the thing that I think that you like about audio, which I do as well, is I am not my voice. I am just this voice, and I say and do ridiculous things that are completely inappropriate. And I would never want to show people what I was doing. Like one time I did a whole episode of Burning Man with my mother getting a happy ending from this guy named Woody. And I was like,
sorry, your mother?
My mother. I took my mother when she turned 70 to Burning Man, and her sisters and my sister and her husband and my cousin. Because at Thanksgiving, I was so bored of our conversation. Like we were talking, they were like gossiping about people they'd met 40 years ago. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. Like I'm going to take my family to do something interesting so we actually can expand our horizons a bit. And also, my family never really understood me. I was always just sort of like this lost dandelion spore. I never got a master's. I never went down a traditional path, in terms of work.
Classic Jewish disappointment. I never did a master's.
Really.
Go on.
Yes,
I interrupt.
What's true. And so I needed to find a way that they could understand why I love the life that I've created on purpose. And that life is full of color and improv and comedy and sexuality and openness and freedom and a real love of life and art and a celebration of the moment and a presentness with the moment to like really enjoy who you are and who you're with. And my family, quite frankly, were just a bunch of type A and gossipy, so gossipy. And I was bored of it. I was bored of them. And I wanted to change our dynamic, not so that they could see me and who I am and be proud of me, but for once I could be in charge of something and they would like have to like respect me on something, because they were all like little children and I was the mother and I was able to boss them around and I was in charge and I was the one who knew what was going on. And that was the first time that's ever happened for me in anything I've ever done with my family. So yeah, I took my family to Burning Man.
Zoe, we got to go to commercial in about 30 seconds. For those listening,
okay.
We're going to come back just to do a little recap so we can get a little on track here. Burning Man is a romp in the desert of Nevada. It's a festival that happens every year and I go to, and I do radio there every year. So we're going to talk about that, but you have been so far a lot at once, and a lot of what you're saying is similar to my narrative, but I think that's just a part of being Jewish.
Minus the IBS.
All right, we'll be back after the break with Zoe Nightingale. I'm David Cooper. This is The Late Showgram.
The Late Showgram continues.
And we're back with The Late Showgram. I'm David Cooper covering for Jim Richards. Our conversation continues with interviewer Zoe Nightingale about Burning Man, a festival for a bunch of weirdos who get naked and do God knows what.
How dare you? The Burning Man is the most incredible thing on the planet and should be protected at all costs. And everyone should go and everyone should experience that kind of joy and life and color and sound. Do not diminish it with these no.
I mean, I'm part of the org. Like I'm staff at Burning Man.
Then you should spout its.
I'm uniquely qualified to on it.
Everyone should go. It's not a festival in the desert. It's
an art festival. Come on, don't get over yourself. It's an art festival.
It changed my mother's life. My mother went from being
but she probably took acid out there, and that's why it changed her life.
She fell in love after being divorced for 15 years. She was 70 years old. She didn't have sex anymore. She didn't cuddle with anybody. She met a man. They're in love. They have an RV. They burn every year. She helped build the art collection in DC about Burning Man. She's fully involved. She's a new purpose. And she turned to me at Burning Man and she said, I have a new reason to live because now I know that all my adventures aren't over. 70 years old, small Jewish woman, very successful businesswoman. You would never imagine the transformation.
I've been trying to get my dad to go. He's 72. He was pretty set on going for his 70th birthday, but of course the pandemic hit and the event was canceled.
COVID.
So I got to put him in. Would your mom want to bring some old? He's kind of crotchety, but
it's fine. Everybody's crotchety till they go.
I just don't want to bring him because he won't fit in with the people I go with.
Listen. If anybody wants to take their parent to Burning Man, I've written an entire thing for people about how to do Burning Man properly. It's a Bible. It's a comedy Bible. It's like 15 pages long. If you want to bring people, you should read this, give this to them, and be prepared that your burn will suck because your family is annoying, but it's not for you. It's for them. And sometimes you need to stop being so selfish and you need to stop raving and let your parents, have a life-changing experience.
I don't rave. I'm sober. I don't do drugs. I think I would stop going if I didn't have the radio station to focus on, just because I used to go and party, but I don't do that anymore because I'm a drug addict / alcoholic.
Happens. Maybe New York is not the best place for you.
I'll be fine.
Anyway, my entire point was that it's very difficult to have to watch what a dickhead you are and not just have your voice be the thing, because watching myself for this TV show has been really challenging. It's tough. It's tough to really take stock of how you come across, what you sound like, plus what you look like, how you know, your mannerisms, how aggressive you may or may not be. It's just been a real eye-opening experience.
Well, you look
moving from
lovely. You have
podcasting.
very funny mannerisms, but how you come across, yeah, you're right. Not great.
What are you gonna do? I can't change at this point. I'm pod committed.
I mean,
I'm not.
so you TV, is it more interesting for you? Are you excited by this challenge, or do you want to go back
No,
to?
I love it. I'm still making my podcast. Podcast is called You're Welcome. And the thing that's so amazing about audio is you're able to delve so deeply into people's stories. There's not a lot of judgment about what they look like or where they're from. And I think a lot of my stories have a lot of people that would never listen to the words of wisdom coming from the people of what they actually look like.
Yeah.
People are able to really move past, just the outward appearance. And so I love audio story. I love audio anything. But listen, TV has been insane. I've been interviewing the most insane people on the planet. Miami, where I am right now, is just full of absolute wackadoodles.
Oh,
COVID
yeah.
turned this place into it's like spring break forever. And I've been interviewing just people from all over the world who are just all insane, but they all have joy and wisdom to them, but it's just outwardly manifest as crazy, or very superficial or very sexy or very whatever. There's just the tits are huge, the cars are fast, the money is just I'm at a strip club at all times. There's just like $100 bills flying around my head at all times. The amount of money infusion that is in the US right now, people are just flossing, and I don't know what's going on, but everyone is just, I get the release from being left, the COVID things being reduced, but people are acting a fool, and I have it all on tape.
So really. I want to talk to you a little bit about some of your more interesting guests, or the ones perhaps you're the most proud of. But first, how are you getting these interesting guests or weird wackadoo guests booked? And I'm just asking for a friend. I'm just completely asking for a friend.
I do anything. I go out into the streets and I talk to strangers, and I have a megaphone. Sometimes I yell at strangers from across the street. And then maybe if they're particularly interesting, like the black shaman witch doctor that I met him at a gay rave where everyone was naked. He had a shirt on, and I was like, "Why do you have a shirt on? This looks very odd." And he lifted up his shirt, and his dick was under his shirt. So I mean, it was So anyway, he told me he was a healer, and I was like, okay, well then I need to film you doing an exorcism on me, which I did, and it was one of the most insane interviews I've ever done in my life, full color. It was just nuts.
I sometimes clam up in person. Like I have a lot of problems going up to people on the street with a microphone. I'm going to do a little bit of that.
You do my job very poorly.
Well, I'm going to do a little bit of that with a friend this weekend to try to get some promos and stuff for the show. But she's used to it. I mean, she does on the street stuff all the time.
Sure.
I do like the equivalent.
Give 0 Fs.
Yeah, I can do that on the air. I can do that on the air with callers. I used to run a radio show in a window with a telephone on the window, and passersby would pick up the phone and be on my show.
So cool.
It was fantastic. And when I was in that space, when I'm doing radio, I can play, I can be a troll, I can have control of my voice in a way that I think is funny and outrageous and pushing buttons and engaging with strangers. But there's something about when I approach them where it's a bit lost. But I don't want to talk too much. I mean, I do want to talk a lot about me, but I won't. Tell me about some of these more interesting guests, or at least ones that you're proud of.
I interviewed a bunch of corona denying girls from Midwest who then took off all their clothes and put my microphone in their butts and twerked on it.
Flatulence involved in that, or just
no flatulence? They had very nice tuchuses. Let me tell you, they're fully waxed.
There's more of a h when I do it. I say tuchus. I don't know. Maybe that's a Sephardic thing.
I'm not trying to say tuchus. It's not. Let's see. I interviewed a 4'2", very famous female exotic entertainer who is in a BDSM relationship with a 6'4" guy who she calls Sir Michael, and about her trials and tribulations, how she became a stripper, the amount of money she makes, what are her tips for sex. All these things are really fun. Then she taught me how to twerk on the pole, which I was not that good at, but I learned.
And how are you prepping for these? Are you just
I don't prep.
Wing it? Yeah.
Wing it.
I used to be like you. I got it.
You can go back.
I mean, I'm gonna do it for my own personal work, but when I work with others, it's like it's hard to control the consistency when you're winging it. At least that's what I've learned.
There's no consistency needed. Let's see. I did the Bitcoin conference. I interviewed a bunch of super nerds about Satoshi and crypto and meme coins and dog coins and all. Oh my! And what is the blockchain? I interviewed some of the top billionaires in the game about crypto and where it's going. I mean, my work is very wide. It's it's always a surprise. I'll put it to you that way. You never know what you're going to get. It's like a Cracker Jacks box.
These are words from my heart. And when my ideal radio show is I've done all the prep so that if I'm kind of clammed up a little bit like I am now, although I haven't done the prep, I can rely on the prep and I can do stuff that it's like sometimes it's butter and you go completely off script from the beginning. And those are my favorite shows. But then it's very hard for me to control the consistency, like I say.
Yeah, that makes sense. You just need practice. So yeah, all my stuff is
I mean,
super
I've
improv,
done like
and it's
1,000 hours of
comedy.
radio and I'm still like,
I've probably done 10,000 hours of podcasting.
10,000 hours of podcasting?
Probably.
What are you, nuts?
Yeah, probably. I mean, in the end, I've been doing this a long time, man.
I like this idea, and I've always done this. If you just have a really incomprehensible, huge body of work, you don't need to stress too much about failure because no one's going to consume your entire body of work.
That is absolutely not how I would approach anything. I think every single thing that I do should be epic and excellent. But yeah, whatever you say.
Do you just assume do you have that much belief in yourself that everything you do
Yes,
is
I
epic?
do.
This is where we differ. I believe 0% in myself. I have flickers of it.
May not be true, but you need an incredible constitution, an unbelievable sense of self, and an unwavering belief that what you have to say is of value, and that your perspective needs to be told, and that the people that you find have wisdom to share in a way that's meaningful and relevant, and can actually change the world in a small way. Because if not, what the hell are you even doing?
I think honestly, this is where we diverge. A lot of what you've been saying is struck with me because we're similar, but this is where we completely diverge. And I honestly think it's maybe genetic or chemical. I just think my brain is not wired like that. And I admire you, but I can't fake it. I try to fake it. I try to have that good attitude, but doesn't always come to me.
I mean, there's nights where you're like on the floor sobbing because the work that you do isn't where you want it to be, and you don't feel like the platform that you've created is big enough. But it doesn't really matter because every single day I get up and I do whatever I want to do, and I listen to the most interesting people, and I consistently have my beliefs challenged, and I get to learn incredible things from amazing humans who are doing the dopest stuff on the planet. And I just feel I'm just so grateful that I never gave up, and every day is a new challenge and a new spectrum of colors, man. It's a joy.
It is. All right. We are going to go to commercial. We'll be back with Zoe Nightingale. This is The Late Showgram. I'm David Cooper.
Now back to the Late Showgram with Jim Richards on the iHeartRadio Talk Network.
This is The Late Showgram. I'm David Cooper. I'm sitting here with interviewer Zoe Nightingale, and she just touched upon something interesting about believing in yourself. Zoe, you had some wonderful words of affirmation for me during the commercial break.
Yeah.
You also said you don't like to repeat yourself, but I would like you to repeat yourself.
No, I don't mind. Listen, it's not your mind, and your inner monologue is your creation. Your narrative is of your own design. And what I have found when things feel really
how do you know that? How do you know that? Couldn't it be environmental? Couldn't it be a messed up childhood or an unloving child?
At a certain point, you can't blame your childhood.
I'm not blaming
your negative self-beliefs.
I'm not blaming it. I'm just saying it may not be in my power to change it.
Who gives a what the words? What I'm saying is, you have the power to change your mindset, and you have the power to talk to yourself differently. And if anything else, if you can't actually believe in yourself, what you can do is, when you find yourself having that negative, like repetitive gerbil-like hamster wheel of all the things you've done wrong and all the ways you could have done better and all the things that you don't think are good about yourself, or you're not, whatever it is very, very possible to just stop and say nice things to yourself and say, like, no, like, I'm actually very brave for leaving my work and going to radio. I'm incredibly cool and funny. People really like me, and the people who don't are actually just part of a giant Sims matrix that pop up to convince me that I'm not just some sort of cyborg human hybrid that's generating power for the machines. No one matters. The only person's opinion that matters is yours. So you may as well have a good opinion of yourself. What the else? What are you doing?
I kind of agree with you. I don't think I can control the thoughts, but I can control how much I engage with them. I can control how much credence I give to them. I can control how I respect those negative thoughts that swirl in my head. And that's
you can also just say nicer things. You could also literally just say nice and when you hear the negative thing, you just replace it.
But what if your work doesn't live up to your taste? What if the work I want to create and then the work that I do create and listen to, it just falls short of what I want to be?
Well, then do better. Then work harder. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious.
Take courses, take vocal lessons, go out and do an improv class with people. Go put yourself out of your comfort zones. Go get weird. Do things that make your stomach want to like itself. Go out and do the things that make you afraid, and do work that is more challenging and is scarier, and do the stuff that doesn't come easily. That is the only way that you grow.
I'm speechless. I mean, I agree with you. I try to do those things, but it doesn't help quite to the degree that I think you think it helps.
Well, I mean, again, I just think your attitude around it needs to change. If you don't believe in it, what is it? It's like the Field of Dreams thing. If you can't see what you're building, then no one's going to come to your play. I mean, it's the same shit.
I think you've just caught me in the middle of the process of converting from someone who desperately does not believe in oneself to someone who does. I'm somewhere.
Why would anybody listen to somebody on the radio that doesn't believe in themselves? I would turn this off right now if I was one of these listeners.
Well, if you have a reason for why you want to listen to this and you want to tell me after the commercial break, you can call us at 1-855-633-1010. That's 1-855-633-1010, or text us at 71010. You were saying?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm saying. All I'm saying is that that many things are in your control that feel out of control, but it takes deep work. It takes, experiences with psychedelics. I mean, psychedelics can really help break, out of your ego rat trap brain and like connect to the divine, into consciousness in a way that can like help you feel like you're part of a collective and not this like weird little, insecure, minuscule human thing.
See, to me, psychedelics have done kind of the opposite. They have let me experience those things, but when I come back,
have you done them intentionally? Have you done them with a blindfold alone, or with a guide, or like using it in a way? No. Okay, so you need to use psychedelics in a way like medicine, not like a party drug, and you need to sit with somebody who does psychedelic healing and psychedelic meditations, and they can help guide you on a path.
What are we talking, like ayahuasca ceremony, this kind of thing?
No. I mean, ayahuasca is for the very, very brave and for people who are very prepared, who are ready to do the diet, who are ready to commit 2 weeks of no sex, no coffee, no drugs, no booze, no sugar. Because if you with ayahuasca will ruin you. She's not the one you should start with, but there are much easier ways of delving into this stuff, drug-free or not. But there are many people that do guided journeys with mushrooms, with medical grade MDMA, with acid, that help people truly relive and move through childhood trauma, which is what all of us are suffering from, what it sounds like you have a lot of that you need to deal with.
I feel a little misconstrued by you. I say one negative thing and you run with it, and that's okay.
You haven't said one negative thing. You've said 14 negative things. And I don't think you.
And really that's what being a Jew means to me, Zoe. That's what being a Jew means to me.
You can't put that on being Jewish. There's plenty of Jews that don't speak of themselves or like this. All I'm saying is you can do whatever. You can show up however you want. It doesn't make it. I mean, you do whatever you want. All I'm saying is if you are looking for some kind of new stimulus and new way of thinking and moving through the planet with less anxiety and maybe less body issues and just a healthier self in general, there are some things that you can do to change it. But it takes work, and it takes a lot. It takes practice, it takes bravery, and it takes educating yourself deeply, and it's not easy.
It isn't. I am more further on this journey than you think I am. I'm relying on these negative things as a kind of like
what, a comedy crutch?
Sure. If you want to reduce it to that level of patheticness, definitely. Yeah, sure. A comedy crutch. It's not working for you, but it's worked for me in the past, and that's fine.
Dude, I am not shading or shaming you in any way. You do whatever is right for you. You merely asked me what are ways in which you can have a better sense of self-worth and a better belief in the work that you're doing. And I'm just merely giving you some options without any judgment.
I guess I'm more of a skeptic than you, because you're saying these sweeping statements about how we can really control our worldview, control our output.
Have you tried it?
Some of these things you're mentioning, I have tried.
Well, I will just put it to you this way. I statements. These things have worked for me, and I struggled with many of the same things that you were talking about for my whole life. And I got through it, and I'm on the other side, and it's really sweet over here.
And you're a few years older than me, so I have this to look forward to over the next few years.
If you're ready to go down the hero's journey, then yeah, it's possible. Things can change. Things are very fluid. Life is not set in stone. You can do whatever you want and be whoever you want and show up exactly as you please. It's your narrative, and you are the star of your own show.
This might be the lecture I needed, Zoe. This might be the lecture. Enough about me. You are wonderful. I'm a big fan of yours. So where can people find you online?
You can go to my website at www.zoenightingale.com. My new internet TV show is hosted on Patreon. You need to spend $5 a month, and you can have access to all my full-length episodes. That's patreon.com/oralfixation. I also have teasers on my YouTube channel which is Zoe Nightingale, and then there's like an oil fixation thing next to it. And there's a ton of videos on there. Some are better than others. I'm currently learning how to do better content. It's not easy, and
you can do better content. If only you believed in yourself, Zoe.
I do believe in myself. Showing up and doing this work every day means I believe in myself because it's so hard, and I hate it, and I'm bad at it. So yeah,
you just lectured me for 45 minutes.
Whoa! With the tone of voice, I can't. With that tone of voice, oh my God. I'm merely saying that I am working on doing this better, and there's different levels of quality to some of this work, and I believe that all of it is funny. Just some of it is like visually less choppy, visually clear. The sound is better. I'm talking about technical filmmaking. All the content's always hilarious. I can give you that, but sometimes it looks like it's like shaky. I'm like inside of like it doesn't. I'm just saying the technical quality of the video component is getting better with time.
Okay.
That is all.
Okay, fine. I'm sorry for shouting at you.
It's okay.
No
worries.
We have compression on my microphone, so it probably didn't come through that loud.
It's just, it's a triggering sound. It's like
men screaming at you. I'm more like a man-child, but men-children screaming at you is very triggering.
I very rarely have Jewish men in that tone of voice saying anything to me by choice.
Do you date Jews?
Never.
Yeah, me neither. Not true. I dated one Jew once, but she would go to Palestine.
I dated one Jew once, but he was Moroccan Sephardic, like from another, like Turkish. So it didn't count. He wasn't. American Jews are not usually I go for. I usually go for the, full head of hair, darker varietals.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. The one Jew I dated would go to Palestine every 6 months and build schools, so my mom didn't really know how to handle that one. But that's a topic for another.
That's a tough one.
Zoe,
well, good for her.
Thank you for joining us. This has been informative.
God,
this has been the lecture I needed. Oral Fixation TV is probably the best place to Google you. You are a treat. You are effervescent. You are exuding in joy, confidence. Your enthusiasm and belief in yourself is infectious. And I walk away from this interview a changed man.
Oh, but it's been a real pleasure to get to know you. And hi out there in Canada, where I hope you're staying warm. I know it's the warm months, but just
they have summer in Canada. We'll be back after this.
I've only heard that in the TV.
This is the Late Showgram. I'm David Cooper. We'll be back after these messages.
I want to give a huge thank you to the entire team at the Showgram radio station and to Jim Richards and his substitute, David Cooper. David, thank you for having me on. It was impromptu. It was spontaneous, but I think we made it work. As always, you can follow me on my Instagram at Dr. Z Nightingale. I have a new Instagram for my TV series, which is oralfixation.tv. If you want to head on over to Patreon and be my patron, for as little as $5, you can have access to a whole bunch of new content I am making. I'm going to be putting up some secret podcasts, you know the drill, but support me. Support your local artists. If not me, support other people. There's a lot of people doing a real bunch of cool shit out there, and they need your love. They need your ears. They need your eyes. There is a lot of content out there, and some of it is created a little bit above the rest. And there's a lot of people putting a lot of heart into sharing their story and other stories. And yeah, I think that's it. Oh yeah, so you can go to my Patreon at www.patreon.com/oralfixation. As for me, I am back in sunny, perfect summertime Brooklyn, and let me tell you what, New York has never looked better. So don't forget, these summer days go so fast. We are not kids anymore. Those long summer months have been reduced to a blink of an eye. So wherever you are, cherish every fucking day, because winter comes a knocking so quickly. So stay safe out there, kids. Wrap it up. And if you don't wrap it up, I hope you trust the person you're with. Have the best night, guys.